All right, I think I'm live. Hello, hello, Zen friends. Happy Sunday to you. Happy weekend. Hope you're having a great weekend. Happy Easter to anyone that celebrates that. It's a great energy of rebirth, coming back from the dead, right? Sometimes that feels like it in the morning, right? So, welcome. So happy to have you all here, my Zen friends. And before we get started and everything, let's bring in some beautiful energy. Let's bring in our lovely singing bowl. And we'll hit this 3 times. And each time we do, just imagine a flood of beautiful, eternal, unconditional love energy flowing into our heart, filling us up, overflowing into our mind, our thoughts, our heart, our emotions, our energetic fields, our chakra, our auras, our meridians, whatever you believe around your energetic body, flowing into our physical body, our blood, our muscles, our organs, our brain, our heart, and then flowing out into our physical world, out into the world, allowing that beautiful energy to do whatever it wants to do to help raise the love vibration of the planet. We can help raise our own love vibration by, as we're hitting the singing bowl, thinking of things that we're grateful for, at least one thing that you're grateful for in this moment, and just thank the Creator for that. Gratitude energy is higher vibrational. It raises our love vibration higher, as well as joy and laughter and play, all of that wonderful stuff. So if you want to do one of those, something to be grateful for as we do this as well. So let's begin. I'm going to take a big deep breath and let's go. Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me and doing that. It's powerful energy today. Wow. Well, the hair is standing up on my body. Woo, woo, woo. All right. So, thank you guys again so much for being here and sharing all your love energy. I can always feel when people join in, there's an extra oomph that comes in. So, thank you for that. And welcome to my channel. If you're new to these readings or new to this channel, hello, hello, welcome. We've got a great group of Zen friends here, huge hearts, great senses of humor. Definitely two things that we can use in this wonderful adventure of humanity. So, welcome. There's always room for more Zen friends. Quickly, how the free readings work, we go down in order, first come, first serve, down the chat. There is no special list. The chat be it. All you do is have to put your question out there. And if you don't want to put your business out there, or you don't know what you want to ask about, but you want a message from Spirit, you can ask for a general reading. Free readings are 1 to 2 questions, and we'll just see what spirit has to say. If anyone makes a donation, I do honor that energy exchange. I prioritize those readings. Stepping out of the free readings, I dive deeper into those too, pulling more cards for those. And if you want to make a donation, you can use the super chat at the bottom or in the description box of the video. I do have my Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and Square. Don't have a set dollar amount. You give whatever you want from your heart, because I know everyone's finances vary from person to person. Cost of living, rate of exchange, all that is different. So whatever you give from your heart, perfect amount. And then after I come back from the donations, any of my um, super friends, my YouTube channel members, they get second priority over donations for their free readings. We do have some. You'll see their names in green with badges. We have Happy Pill, hello, hello, and Andrea 54 Hector, Nelly Maderos, hello, hello, and Christina Lowe, hello, and Deb, hello, Deb, happy Easter. So if you're interested and becoming one of my YouTube channel members, I have 2 levels: Zen Cricket $2.99, Praying Mantis $7.99. There's a link down in the description box that talks about everything. But on Fridays and Saturdays, if I don't get to all of the free readings, which yesterday in my morning session of 6 hours, yes, 6 hours of doing readings, I didn't get to any free readings because I was so blessed by all the donations. So I felt horrible. I got over it, but that's my journey of feeling guilty of not getting people their messages, because that's my passion. That's what I want to do. Um, but Sundays are different. I always come back on to finish out everything. So if you get your question into the chat, you'll get a message sometime today, even if it's later this afternoon after I go spend time with my Praying Mantis members. But if you're my YouTube channel members, I always make sure on Fridays and Saturdays to complete the donations and my YouTube channel member readings, because that's part of their membership. Also, we get together on Thursdays, both memberships together, where we have it's 2 3 hours, sometimes 4, where we have unlimited tarot readings. We do oracle readings, past life readings, talk about astrology, whatever we want. And then also my Praying Mantis members, the higher level, on Friday and Saturday nights. And after this session on Sunday, we get together for an hour and a half as well. So if you're interested, check it out. My Praying Mantis members also get advanced access to all of the videos I put out. I have new moon and full moon readings when the sun changes signs each month. Um, what else do I have? Weekly Zen Bytes, little tidbit video that talks about how to maintain our Zen or come back from chaos back to our Zen. If we get sucked out into that chaos that's out there in the world, right? We also have monthly Zen Gates, which are portals like 112233. We have a monthly quest video too, which is more like a podcast. It doesn't have readings in it yet, anyway, but we talk about how to use the connection to our elemental spirit guides and our guardian or guardian angel as well, to make it through this, especially this year. That's why there's so many things I'm putting out. Spirit really prompted me at the end of last year, coming into this year, do all this stuff. One, it keeps me balanced and mainly out of trouble, mostly. Um, but then I share them with you guys if there are things that we can do to help keep us grounded during this wave after wave after wave of astrological energies that are coming in. And also, I have quarterly equinox and solstice readings. And I had an annual one too for 2025 for each individual zodiac sign. So all those playlists are listed down in the description box of the video. So just, take advantage of those. I know if that wasn't enough, I also um, am doing a little social media post, and it appears here on YouTube too, when planets go into new signs, because this is a very ominous year. If you don't know it already, right? You're like, hell yeah, I know that already. But every planet, starting in November of last year when Pluto permanently went into Aquarius for about 20 years, Um, all the planets within that year are changing. Now, normally, like Mercury changes every 3 weeks, and Mars every 60 days, Venus every month. Um, so, all the inner planets, we're used to those changing quite a bit, which those are the ones that I'm sharing a lot, which I will share because it's important to know the energy. Um, but all the other planets are changing too, the ones that are way, way away from the sun, and those change every 5, 7, 14, 20 years, so that they're all happening within this year is huge. So it's good to ride the waves of the astrological energy instead of being slapped upside our head by him, right? At least you know, if you ever been at a beach before, especially as a child, um, I remember looking at my parents waving at them, on shore, and they're all pointing, "Look behind you." And I turn around just in time for this big wave to and then you're, fumbling around, and then just when you get your feet and you stand up, you get hit again. So, we don't wanna be drowned by astrological energy, right? So, fun, fun. So all that is out there too. We put out Mercury just went into Aries, so fiery communication. Thursday into Friday. Mars went into Leo. I posted a little bit about that. And then Venus is going to go into Aries too on April 30th. I'm going to do a little update on that about where all the planets are at in their energy right now. So we just can be like, oh, that's why this is hitting me. Oh, that's why that's hitting me. So it's good to know. Anyway, so blah blah yada yada yada. Oh, let me just share some of them with you here. So we put out, oh, happy birthday, all you Taurus sun babies! Taurus season started yesterday. How could I not mention that? So here's a video that talks about that. It has a card for each individual zodiac sign, talking about what area of our life can use a little bit of grounding or self care. Also, yesterday morning, we had our video come out for the Taurus new moon that's coming up. We talk about making the most of your new moon wishes. So be sure to check out that video. And I think that's all the ones I want to talk about. All of the links are in the description box of the video as well. All right. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. All right. So let's get into it. And thank you for your patience with me all blabbing about everything. I just want to make sure you're aware of all the free stuff that's out there. And you're very welcome, Deb. Thank you so much. You're so kind. I love you. All right, so I'm throwing cards around. So I'm going to start off using this beautiful deck. This is the book. The box looks a little different, but it's the Witch Sisters Tarot, and it's by Julia Jeffrey. In case you're interested in picking this up for yourself, at least you know what it looks like. And this is what the backs of them look like, so you can see them if you see them, wherever you purchase and procure your cards. But we'll dive into some donations first. So let me get these over here where I can see it a little better, 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 better. There we go. All right. So where we're at on donations right now. So we'll start off with Nelia. So Nelia, we have a couple for you. And then Christina Lowe, Christina. And then we will jump over to Supernova. Hey, Nova. And then via Z PayPal, I did get that. Lolita. So thank you for your donation there. So that's where we're at currently, and that's where we'll jump into. So let us begin. Thank you guys again so much for being here, and happy Sunday, happy Easter, happy Taurus season. Oh, happy day. All right, so Nelia, thank you for your first donation. Actually, I think you just have one here. For some reason, I thought there was two. It was yesterday, right? Every other day. So thank you for you have consistent donations, and I really appreciate that. So, oh, so your timestamp, let's not forget that. So Nelia, we're starting you off at 15 minutes here. Already 15 minutes in, and I'm just starting. Oh my gosh. All right. So Nelia, any new messages from your future true love? Well, let me brighten this all up. That's why I'm having trouble seeing. I had it dimmed. Oh, there we go. I can see. So, any messages from your future true love? All right, we'll dive into that. We'll ask here um, will you get married? We'll ask that question first. Based on current energies, are you guys looking at getting married here? Will you buy or build a new home together? Okay, that's that one. And then, how will your family feel about him? Uh-oh. Why ruin a perfectly good reading, Nelia? Just kidding. Um, and then, any message Spirit wants, any message from, okay. And then, so let's look at the messages from them, your true love. Okay, we do have those. And then, anything that Spirit wants you to know here. Okay. All right. So let's dive in. Will you get married? Oh, look at this. You got the judgment card, the renewal card. I love that. I do feel like you guys will get married. In fact, when I heard renewal, I heard renewal of vows too. In fact, you'll get married many times. Not that you're going to get divorced, married again, anything like that, but it's like I feel like you guys will want to renew your vows like every 5 years or something like that, where you guys do it as a celebration. And it's like auto insurance. Am I gonna renew this marriage? I think you guys kinda joke about it. Well, let's see. Yeah, I will marry you again. That's funny. So I do feel like you will get married and you guys will continually get married over and over again. I love that. Will you buy or build a new home? You have the 9 of Waters, the 9 of Cups. That's the dreams come true card. So whatever the dream come true for you is what you guys will do, which I feel like your dream is to buy a home and then have one built. So both, right? You want to be like, well, when we get married, we're going to move into one and then we're going to plan what we want to have built and where. Um, so I feel like that's what's going to happen with that. That's like your dream, right? So I like that. And then what will your family think about him? One card. Oh, right. The High Priestess card. Your family here. Interesting because the High Priestess is they're very intuitive. Um, a lot of and then and I even said, why ruin it? But it feels like your family, they might have some, things below the surface that come up around them, when they come into your life and stuff. I feel like because the High Priestess has an energy sometimes of revealing stuff, things come bubbling up, and I kind of feel like that's what happens here. But this isn't about you and your future husband, when because I feel it's more when you meet and you introduce them and you guys are dating and moving towards that um kind of, you know um marriage ceremonies and stuff. That um each of the individual of your family members are being triggered in different ways and things are coming up, and so don't let it be about you and your um future husband. Let that just know that this is about them. Their fears, their triggers being revealed, and it's nothing about you guys. So I like that, Nelia. So um we've got that beautiful awareness, and then let's see what does your future husband, what message do they have for you? You got 5 cards from them. You got the King of Stones, King of Pentacles. So that is an energy here, especially when asking about home and stuff. They're like, "I got you, boo. I got you. We're gonna." Their solid foundation. They've got money and groundedness, and they're a master of the worldliness as far as how the world works, finances, abundance. So they're very secure. So they're like, you don't got to worry. We got you. You got the 7 of Swords. And the 7 of Swords is the betrayal, cheating, lying energy. And they're like, "Don't worry about that either." They're like, "I've had that happen to me. I saw it happen in my parents and siblings' marriages and all this stuff, and I saw how people what the pain it brings people. I experienced that pain before in earlier relationships, and I don't want anyone to feel that way, and you don't have to worry." Um, so I like that. Got the 8 of trees, 8 of pentacles. This is education and transformation too, and I like that coming over top the 7 of skies, the 7 of swords, because 'cause they're like, "I've transformed." I don't sit in that pain, I'm not like, "Ooh," fearful about things, and especially with that king of pentacles, they're really solid and grounded person. They have gone through a lot already, and they're not, you know, tipsy-turvy, topsy-turvy, whatever that is, from outside world stuff. They have a really solid foundation, so I really like that. And the 3 of waters, 3 of cups, they have this natural joy that's here too. Um, I feel like their personality, part of their transformation and everything they went through is, I used to let everything bother me, and I hated my life because I was focusing on all the bad. I decided to choose joy. So there's someone that's like, they're not like laughing all the time, like fake stuff, but they're like, I choose joy. I've learned I was an expert at finding the worst in things, and I wanted to become an expert at finding the joy in things. So they are. I like that kind of energy that's coming in here. And the 8 of trees, the 8 of pentacles, I do feel like they have schooling, and so they've got degrees, at least a graduate degree, if not a doctorate. Um, I feel like more graduate degree, so they've got their education and expertise in their field in a way. They might even be working or wanting to have their doctorate because that keeps coming up. I don't feel like they've accomplished it yet, but I feel like they're in that mode. And then the full card, yeah, this is that they're at that second stage in their life where they've really let go of a lot of the old, and it's like this renewal. That's this 8 of pentacles too. It's the transformation from a caterpillar to a butterfly. So when you meet them, they're like, I've went through a lot of the crap and left a lot of the crap behind. So I like that. He's got a good personality, great sense of humor, which is important. So I love that. All right. And then what else does spirit want you to know, Nelia? You got the sun card. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful brightness. The king of skies. Again, education. So I feel like they've got a great mind. You guys have great communication with one another, but they are that perpetual student. So I do feel like they're going to be going into their doctorate, getting their doctorate, because I feel like they want to teach, but they've learned too. Um, so they do want that PhD or whatever behind their title to be able to teach at college, that kind of stuff too. And the 8 of stones, 8 of pentacles. Oh, you know what? 8 of trees is 8 of wands. Well, this is what I was seeing was the 8 of pentacles. I don't know why. I was thinking trees are ground, but so here's the 8 of pentacles. But the 8 of wands is also a very passionate person, which makes sense with everything. So, aren't you the lucky one? All right. So those are the big messages that were coming there, Nelia. Let me get you your fortune cookie, and then we'll circle back around for your free reading when we're done with donations. And let me just put all these cards back in various places. All right. I have a little smorgasbord, a variety pack of all the whispering woods, the fortune cookies, and from the heart, I put all the ones that were remaining together in one big stack or smaller stack. So let's take a look here. What do they have here for you? There's your card over there. I'm so glad they didn't all go down there. So I experience love in all its beautiful glory. What a great card to get. for your love reading. All right. So I love that for you, Nelia. Nelia. So many blessings to you. All right. And then we've got Christina Lowe. You are up. Let's see here. I think I grabbed your Nelia. Nelia, I didn't even post it. I put it down, but I don't think I posted it in the chat. So here's your timestamp, Nelia. Oh, I did. Now I see it. Okay, you have it twice. And then Christina, here's your timestamp ish when we started here. So let's take a look here. Christina, happy Easter to you too. You'd like to say hello to all your loved ones who've passed away. Oh, yeah, they're always around you. So um, sending love and hugs their way. If anyone has anything to tell you, you'd love to hear from them. All right, very good. And let's see here. So we'll use that as your free reading. I'll eventually come around for that because it looks like here you have a specific question, which I believe is for your donation. So that's what we're gonna do. So any advice or messages from them or your higher self you've been thinking of? Oh, okay. So you just want any of the messages from them about your higher self? Ah, your mother-in-law. Beautiful. She loved Easter. Um, so I was drawn to pull out these the Healing Spirits Oracle for messages from people on the other side today in case anyone asks. So this is what we're going to pull from. An oracle for you for your reading here, and it's the Healing Spirits by Gordon Smith. All right, and here it is. So let's see what messages they're bringing through collectively for you. True love can never really be lost. I love it. Card number 30. You can kind of see here. Oh, that's all these spirits. There's all these people. Can you see all the different bodies that are in there? It's kind of glary there, but all these spirits, all of these surrounding you. I love that. So let's see here. Oh, these are little short ones too. I didn't realize this. Okay, so to love another is a wonderful thing. To be loved in return is the highest state the human being can achieve. The ascended masters in the higher realms of the spirit world have known love beyond the human condition and remind us that love in the human form may be perceived as incredible bliss when you experience it or deep sorrow when you feel its absence. But when it has truly touched your life, it is forever, and neither time nor death can destroy it. Authentic love lives forever in your heart, not your head. And that is why it hurts when you fix your thoughts on love lost or otherwise. Wow. It's best to feel it in your heart where it can be truly be understood and experienced. Remember, the head was made to think, the heart was made to feel. So, what an amazing awareness. We feel pain when we think about love, but when we sit in the love that we have for them, we don't feel the loss because we feel the love in here. But when we think about the love we had, that's when we feel the pain of them, of their loss, of the loss that they're not walking around with us in human form. That's beautiful. I love that message for you. It was very short. I thought those were longer. So let's pull a couple tarot here too. Any advice from them? I like that advice of from your heart. Feel their love in your heart. And they're always around you. You know, when loved ones, as soon as they leave their human bodies, they're all right next to us, and they will be next to us. They can be in like a billion places all at once. So they can be with each and every one of the loved ones all at the same time. as if that's all the place that they're at, but they don't have to share their energy because they can be completely present with each loved one. So they will always be with you. They never leave you. They're always around you. So when you're saying, tell them, hey, they're like, we're right here. Tell us, hey. They're right next to you, right? Let's see what else they have here for you. Right, bottom of the deck, we do have the Six of Trees, which is the Six of Wands. Yeah, the Six of Wands is a wonderful energy, because it's like a kudos. It's usually someone up on a horse that is being celebrated, and so they're celebrating you right now. Um, and again, they're around you. They're letting you know that they're always around you. They don't judge you. They don't think there's a supposed to be, should be. They're more like puppies in the back of the car going for a ride. They don't care where they're going for a ride. They're just glad to be along for the ride. And so they're just like, what are you going to do next? All right, fun. And you're like, well, I screwed up. They're like, no, that was fun. What are you going to do next? So there's no judgment from them here. You got the power of choice with the chariot card coming in here. Take flight. And so don't be afraid that they're ever looking down on you. You have the power of choice, and there's no wrong choice. From spirit's perspective, it's just different choices with different experiences and different outcomes. The whole posse, they don't look at and go, "Oh, you should have done that." And they're like, "Wow, how was that? How did that feel? What did you do? All right, what do you want to do next?" It's that kind of energy that's coming in here. The King of Trees, yep, King of Wands. So this is you are the ruler of your kingdom. Whatever you choose to do, choose. Put your energy behind it. Make a plan. Let's go. There again, there's this, um, it's almost like they're saying, yeah, we have a lot of advisors, especially a lot of self-appointed advisors around us, right? With this King of Wands. And there's this, it's like if you can picture like a throne room and there's a king and all these people are blah, 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 blah. They're up on the stairs that, lead up to the throne, and they're all around just arguing and telling the king what they should do with the kingdom and all these opinions, opinions, opinions. And finally the king goes, wait a minute, I'm the king. And then he's like, "Shh. All right, everybody, thank you for all of your opinions. Put them on the table and please clear the throne room. I'm going to decide what I want for the kingdom. I'm going to put a plan and put action behind it. And you will follow me because this is my kingdom." Right. And I like that. It's your life. And it feels like, they're saying, we can get caught up in what everyone else thinks, what they're going to think, blah, blah, blah. But this is about, reinforcement from them going, it's your life. Do what you want. Yeah, some of us were all giving you all those opinions, but now that we're up here, we're like, you know what? That was just our human character. It's what we do down there, but up here, we have none of that. So I like that. Then your final card, yeah, the Seven of Skies, the Seven of Swords. This is about letting go of thoughts and beliefs and mindsets that, steal things out of our life, the things that hold us back, any of those um, thoughts of our own that lie to us and betray us. Just be aware of those and allow those to come up, and to see those there. So I love that. All right. And then for your fortune cookie here, let's see what else they have here, right? This one right here from the heart says, I am blessed, a living, excuse me, a living and loving expression of the eternal union. So remembering your divine presence, your divinity, that you're part of this union, you're part of us already up there. And sometimes we get caught up in our humanity and we forget that we're more than this character. We're a powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love that has had many, 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 many human experiences already in different lifetimes and many more, as well as millions of other expressions in other dimensions and other universes and other frequencies and everything else. So just all of that helps put life in perspective. This is one drop in a ocean full of experience. So there you go. So that's what they have for you. Christina. So thank you again for your donation. I greatly appreciate that. All right. And then Nova Supernova, thank you for your multiple donations. Yum, yum, yum. I love your stickers. All right. So let us dive in here and let's see. I do see number one. So if you're listening, make sure to put out your number two and number three questions, and we'll get to those too. So we'll start off, of course, at number one. Let me take a quick sip here. All right. Coffee mustache. All right. So you're staying at your aunt's house, holidaying in Queensland. Ooh la la. On holiday. So you want to know, what does spirit want you to know about it? Anything funny they'd like to say? Maybe Kurt come up with something. All right, let's take a look here. See what comes through here. All right. Righty. So what about this vacay? This holiday, and that's not a vacation, right? It's a holiday. And what else do they want you to know here? It's funny. This these back of these cards look kind of peach or pink. And there's this little two, it's like two sets of cards that almost look like footprints, and there's this little trail. I think I talked to you about because they brought up before, like little bunny foo foo hopping down the bunny trail, finding little fairies and then bopping them on the head. If that wasn't you, this is coming in, and especially it's Easter. It's funny with the bunny rabbit, but it's a funny little song from way back in the day. So look that up and see what pops up there for you, because I feel like that's the funny thing that Kurt is bringing in. We'll see what else they want you to know here as well. That is funny. Foo foo bunny bunny. Um, Bottom of the deck, you have the Hermit card. I love this coming in here for you. Um, because you're usually a hermit and that you're staying with your aunt. This is good. I feel like they're saying, yeah, you have your hermit energy, and it's good because when you're alone, you do connect with spirit. And so it's important to have your alone time, even when you're at your aunt's, to connect with that energy. So I love that coming in there. But it's good that you're out amongst people right now, and it's very, um, I wouldn't say faded, but it's very appropriate for you right now. It's very welcomed and supported that you're there, is what I mean by that. Let's see here. You got, like I said, two sets of bunny prints. The first one, you have the Eight of Stones, which is the Eight of Pentacles, and the King of Waters, which is the balance. King of Cups, balance between head and heart, and the Eight of Stones, which is an energy of growth and putting in the blood, the sweat, the tears to see the progress here. So I like this because I feel like being around other people almost forces you to be a little more balanced, which it does for all of us. When we're by ourselves, our thoughts are really loud because we're not sharing them with anyone, and the things that are kept in private and in darkness, especially when we're hermiting and maybe isolating ourselves, are really, really loud, and they seem like they're more true, the darker things especially. But when we're around people, it almost kind of lulls the loudness of that inner thinking, because we're seeing a lot of activity outside of us. And I like this. So there's this balance, there's this progression kind of energy that's coming in here, right? So we have that. So I like that here. So we'll look at that. Um, Andrea, you didn't make a donation, Andrea? At least I don't show one came through, so I'm still on donations. So um, after donations are done, then I go to YouTube channel members for their free reading. So that's why I see yours up there, but we're not to you yet. All right, just so you know that I haven't overlooked you. All right. So that's the first little thing, Nova. And then your second set of footprints, you got the renewal and the Five of Cups. So the renewal is the Judgment card and the Five of Cups. And this again a great, it's like the other foot of the rabbit is, the Five of Cups is one of your poster child cards. Oh yeah. Um this is amazing. Um the Five of Cups, right? This is that one of your dream of wanting to help people through your music move from lower emotion vibration to higher emotional vibration. And the renewal card, which is the judgment card, is also the calling card. We get that both of these cards for your dream, your calling, because it's usually like an angel with a trumpet, right? If you remember that, where they're blowing the horn and their people are rising from the dead out of their coffins, but it's the calling, and the calling is your dream. And I like this, energy that comes in here because this is a opportunity for you to really remember your dream and focus on your dream, talk about your dream, and to take action on it. Because again, with all this balancing energy, you have to be more focused and more, when you're around family visiting, you're not at home by yourself. Maybe you're not partaking of certain substances as much. And so you have clarity that comes in a bit here, and you can see your dream more clearly too. So I love that for you. Now let's look at the bunny trail and see what comes in here. The first one here, we've got the 10 of trees, the 10 of wands, and this is, she's so intense, isn't she? But the 10 of wands is about an an adjustment of where you're investing your energy, right? And so that goes, so well with everything we've talked about, because you're realizing, okay, instead of investing energy in things that aren't really for my dream, this is allowing you to um, refocus your dream instead of having all this energy scattered in all these different directions, to really zero in and kind of repurpose you to take steps. Is it supporting me towards my dream? Then why am I doing it? Why am I investing energy in it? No, this is where I want to go. Is this helping me get there? No, it's not. It's distracting me. Is this, anything that I'm doing physically, is that helping me? No, it's muting me. It's taking me away from my creativity. It's like this. Am I journaling? Am I writing lyrics? Am I playing the guitar? Am I, you know, um, um, looking at my journal and seeing what kind of lyrics I can have come from that around that Five of Cups? How have I been transforming my emotion from lower to higher vibration? What are those experiences where I've done that and been able to do that? Right. So I like that. You got the 9 of trees. So 10, 9. We're counting down. 9 of wands is being aware of the obstacles that have been keeping you from moving forward. So that's what this is helping you to. The 3 of stones, 3 of pentacles. Here's that creativity card, being true to your authentic self. But it's like the empress. It's the really zeroing in on creating in the external world, right? We have creativity up here, we've got creative energy, we've got creative emotion, but putting it into the outside world is what this 3 of Pentacles is about. And then you have the 10 of Waters, the 10 of Cups, the joy, joy, joy card. So, what's bringing you joy and focusing on not the false joy, but the the real joy from your heart, and sharing that. So I feel like that's a big piece of what they want you to know right now. Nova Nova. So let me put these cards back in. We'll pull a fortune cookie here for you. I don't see your other questions yet. So don't forget to put questions number 2 and 3, whoops, out there. Here's your card. And we'll circle back around if you don't put any before I finish here. So my mind creates a reflection of my physical world. I am at peace. Wow. So that's a lot of what we were talking about. Create this create energy. My mind creates a reflection of my physical world. So we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. So it's important to be aware of our thinking, right? So I like that. All right. So that is what they have for El Numero Uno. So we will circle back around. Let me just jot down here. So Lolita, your donation will be up next. And then Rocky's World. Hey, Rocky. Let me just jot your name down here. So Rocky's World, your 2 will be up after that. And then let me check timestamps. All right. And then Sonali. Hey, Sonali. You will be up after that. And then, see, I got another one. Susie PayPal. And then Maria P. Whoops, let me make sure. Yep. Maria P, you'll be up after that. All right. So let me just get all those in there so I don't have to recreate. All right. And let me just real quick here. I'm going to grab screenshots of these 2 other donations so I don't forget. Nova, you know how I am. I get into everything and here we go. Zoom, zoom. All right. So, Lolita, thank you so much for your donation. Let's take a look here. Okay, it's not down there, so your question must be up here. Oh, let me put your timestamp here. And let me see, did I put out supernovas? Did I forget? I sure did. Jeepers, jeepers. I'm falling down on the job. Let me just put supernovas out there real quick. I'm just going to put this for number 1. We'll do that one. All right. And then, so Lolita, we're actually starting out more like 47, 43. So sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. We'll put yours out there. Boom. There we go. All right. So let's find your question up here. And all right. So, how do you make things right with the situation on your mind? All right. So let's take a look here and find out. Let's take a quick sip here. Got to stay hydrated today. I know drinking coffee probably isn't hydration. That's dehydration, but got to keep the vocal cords wet. That's more it. All right. So how can you make this situation that's you're thinking of, how can you make this right? So we got 1 and 2 and 3. Oh, and there's a progression going on here. And then okay, so let's see what we got. Bottom of the deck, you do have the Maid of Trees. Now, this is the Page of Wands in the Standard Tarot. So it is fire energy, it is activation, it is being aware of, first of all, where you're investing your energy, right? And what I mean by that is like, if I'm focusing on the lower vibration around a situation, I'm expanding that. Um, and so, like, the first thing that we can do in any situation is realize what am I growing in a situation? Because if I'm focusing on what I've done wrong, if I'm judging myself, or I'm focusing on what someone else is doing wrong, or it didn't unfold, or the disappointment around an expectation that wasn't met, and whatever is going on, I'm expanding the lower vibration around a situation by my whatever I'm focusing on. So, and we're taught that it's human. There's no judgment at all. We all do it. When we're in fear, that's what we're drawn to, right? When our little inner child feels unsafe and out of control, We do all sorts of crazy stuff. All of us do crazy stuff, unintelligent, unloving, uncompassionate things, and we become children fighting, right? But at some point, we kind of slide back out of fear, and we can do that by breathing deeply or whatever that you do to calm ourselves. Then we can see a situation more clearly from a clear head instead of the like in this case, this little cat who's taking a selfie because it sees Bigfoot and aliens. Once we calm down, we come out of our cat mind, out of our little 2-year-old mind. We see things from an intelligent adult point of view instead of the other. So anything we can do to calm ourselves and move our energy into, okay, what am I grateful for in this situation? That's gonna be can be hard, but we can find something. It's like I lived through it, even if it's that. So far, I've lived through this situation. I'm not dead, and I haven't killed anybody, right? Don't say it here, Lolita. This is a recorded line. I haven't killed anybody. I'm not dead. Okay, I'm grateful for that. What else am I grateful for? And we can find the gift in any situation. Something's happening for us, right? um and we can look at the situation first by what am I experiencing, because whatever we're experiencing in the outside world is a mirror for us always to see something about ourselves, either how we've grown or where we can grow, right? So, first of all, our energy. Come back to our energy is how we can start making a situation right, like that. So, that's the bottom of the deck. Let's see what comes in here. This progression, you got one card and then two card and then three card, and then one card and two card, and then one card. So, it's like something grows and then it restarts and it starts growing again, but it before it goes bigger, it goes smaller. Oh, there's a little message in that we learn through situations. We grow through suffering and uncomfortable situations in the outside world, right? And this is like so sometimes like especially if we have a trigger that goes off, like something triggers and we're like, "Oh, I didn't like feeling that way." Well, we visit it, we try to understand what's going on inside of us. When something similar happens again, we go 1, 2, but maybe we don't go boom to the 3. We stop ourselves before we go like ballistic. We still have all this emotion, but we like go, "Ooh, I don't want to have to, you know, go through that again. So I'm not going to go down that road." I start heading, you revert, right? And then the next time it's just one. So I like that. 1, 2, 3. The next time, 1, 2, no. Next time, just one, and you don't even go to stage two. So there is this progression and this kind of a acknowledgement that you've grown, that if you think back like maybe 5 years ago, you can look at how you handled a situation like this before, you're like, "Oh god." And you're like, "I didn't do that." So celebrate that, right? That's something to be grateful for. I didn't have to bury a body this time. Just kidding, but it's like, "Wow, I avoided murder." So I like this. Let's see what it is here though. So number 1, you've got the 10 of skies, the 10 of swords. And the 10 of swords here, this does talk about that, energy of right, you know, um, which, we're taught a lot of stuff growing up about, this is how things are supposed to be. And so when we think a situation isn't right, that is an indication that we have a story about how things are supposed to be. But everything's always perfect. We're always experiencing, we're always growing. And so the something that we can do is to understand like we were talking about disappointment, right? When when we feel disappointed, that means we have an expectation, which is a small t truth rooted in fear. It's a conditional love law. You know, these are the things that have to happen in order for me to be loved and for someone else to be loved. That's conditional love. That's human. Unconditional love is creator and spirit world. No conditions. There's just love. Nothing you can do to lose it, nothing you have to do to earn it. Humanity, we get to experience conditional love, so we understand what unconditional love is. But the expectations come in. And so when we look at a situation, we can ask ourselves, where was their disappointment? Where was what I thought was supposed to happen didn't happen? Either that I didn't do what I think I was supposed to do, or and they didn't do what they were supposed to do. But it's interesting because it is that energy of, um, when we have this um thought that something has to happen a certain way and it doesn't happen, who's to blame? Is it that person for not doing what I expected? Or is it um, my fault because I forced my expectation on them? Something that really gets this, you know, clear is like if I said, "All right, so Lolita, I expect you to give me $1,000 every day for the rest of your life or the rest of my life." And and it's like, "Well, bruddaZEN, you are going to be disappointed." And is it your fault that I'm disappointed? Or is it my fault that I'm disappointed for putting that on you, right? And is there truly any blame that has to happen? Maybe, we can use that feeling of disappointment to be a flag that we can look at something inside of us, right? That I can look at what expectation is there because, we if I have expectations on others, by golly, I have a ton on me. I have myself under that conditional love laws and so I'm trying to control everything in the outside world. So this whole 10 of swords, energy is about getting to that point where I'm just realizing where this expectations, these small t truths that we've been taught growing up are supposed to happen are lies. It's opinion, really. It's opinion. People we've learned, well, in this situation, this is the story that this is what is supposed to happen. This is how you're supposed to feel. These are the actions you're supposed to take, the energy you're supposed to invest. But it's just opinion. We don't have to. And when we realize all the stuff that happens is pointing us back, our feelings happen in here, not out there. Their feelings happen inside of them, not out here. But we're taught growing up, right? I'm responsible for other people's emotions because we're taught. You made mom disappointed when you didn't do what she wanted you to do. You made dad angry when you didn't do what he wanted to do. And so we were like, oh, I'm responsible for other people's emotions. And so we think everyone else is also responsible for mine. That's the trick, the illusion of humanity is no, I'm the one that decides my story, my emotions, my energy, my actions, and I'm not responsible for anyone else's. And it's this return. So I feel like this, I know we went really deep in this one, right? But the energy of how do I make a situation right? I have to write it in here. I've got to write it in here. Write like RIGT, right? Write it, make it right. And then I can make it right in the physical world. And sometimes I don't have to do anything physically because we realize all the wrong is happening in here, not out here. The outside world, people just have actions or non-actions, words or silence. And, there's this energy of, um, that it just is until it gets in here. This is where we put the story to that. It's neutral until it enters this brain. It's neutral emotion until we bring it in here. It's neutral till we invest energy in what we want it to be. So interesting. Okay, we went really deep. Let's continue here. Next, we have the tradition, which is the Hierophant and the Eight of Skies. Yeah, so this is just, you know, The Hierophant, a lot, it's like our higher self that allows us to see things from a higher perspective, from capital T truths. And the eight of sky, the eight of swords, is us realizing what of my own thoughts and beliefs and mindsets have made me feel blinded and bound and trapped and restricted, right? So it's like, okay, we come back to our thoughts and our thinking. And then the three cards are the ace of stones. Yeah. When we release our thoughts and look at our thoughts, I know, boom, right? We have the ace of pentacles. We create a new opportunity in the outside world, the ace of skies. We see things from a new perspective. These aces are these new beginnings. And the queen of waters, the queen of cups. We come back to spirit. Queen of cups, she rolls over the water suit with the king, but all the queens get a second portion of water, which makes her very intuitive and very empathic. And part of being an empath, which we all have empathic abilities, we all have different levels of it depending on our astrology, but also how many of the emotional blocks we've removed out of our pipeline. We really feel a lot of people's emotions, but part of that, what spirit is bringing up is even within our heart, we start to realize what is of other people's emotions that I'm taking on as my own emotion, which I don't need to do. What of the emotions I'm feeling is my inner child that's being sparked from someone expressing an emotion, and my little inner child going, "Ooh, ooh, I feel that too. Here it is." What is my current um, emotion that I'm feeling in the moment that is sparked by my emotional choice? There's even past life emotion that's bubbling below the surface from past lives that can be coming in. So it's like four sources of emotion that can be rolling through us, and that we get to kind of dissect that and go, what is their emotion that I'm taking on? What is my old inner child emotional, 7 years old and younger emotional child going, hey, 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 what is the true emotion I'm choosing to feel in the moment? And maybe what is some old, bubbling way below the surface, some past life emotion that's um, also making itself known right now. So a lot of this amazing growth, right? And then we start over at number one again with the Witch of Waters, which is the Knight of Cups. This is the quest of self love. And we realize that this entire life, we start off from a place of unconditional love, like we talked about. And then we come down to earth. One of the reasons why we come to earth is to experience lower vibration. So, in experiencing what we're not, we understand more of who we are. So, it's like this quest for the Ace of Cups, the quest of the Holy Grail of self love on the inside. But we realize that this quest that we're on, we actually, we're told, look out here for that self love. But self love is inward and upward. What we find on the outside world is conditional love, right? Instead of the unconditional love that we're searching for that we find inward and upward. So everything that we experience is reflecting back to us this journey. And when I search for my fulfillment and everything in the outside world, it always points me back inward. Because eventually, we realize the outside world is unstable and conditional and all of that. And it's like, yep, we don't find what we're looking for out there. And so we eventually become disappointed enough. We become bored with that experience, and then we turn inward up. We're like, oh, there it is, ta-da! And that's the whole journey of the Knight of Cups. We look for our worth, we look for love, we look for everything outside of us, and we're like, where is it? We've looked everywhere. And they're like, oh, it's inside. And you're like, you mean all this time you told me to look out here and it's been in here this whole time? And they're like, yeah, that's part of the quest. You got to go out there and experience that. But when you're done, we tell you it's inward and upward. There it is. And you're like, seriously, it's been in my pocket this whole time, right? All right, let's see here. What does these other two cards here? So you've got the Queen of Trees, the Queen of Wands, and the Sun. Yeah. So here's the Leo inner child energy and the Queen of Wands. There is all this. energy of turning inward and upward with these cards, the Queen of Wands is a lot like the Queen of Cups, because the queens again have that empathic cup energy that they get. But the Queen of Wands already has a connection to spirit through that wands spiritual energy. So it's about kind of how do I write situations in the outside world? It's all about inward and going, What? Why did I want? What's the story here? What's the real reason behind the scenes? Because there's all sorts of reasons why humans do the crap that they do, right? Out of fear, we do all sorts of stupid stuff, right? Um, Unintelligent, unloving, uncompassionate things, right? The hissing cat. um, but if we want to know what's really going on, what's going on under the surface, behind the scenes, what's the real higher capital T truth of what's going on, that's when we connect with spirit and we do our inner work because the outside world is a reflection. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. And until we go inward, then it's like, oh, there's the answer. Otherwise, we learn the hard way, like I liked to do in my life, which is the lesson is repeated until it is learned. If you go from person to person, situation to situation, and it's like, what? Why does this keep happening? And I'm like, oh, there's a common denominator in all this. It's something in here, but it's good. It's revealing and I love that. And then you have flow, temperance. This is a card of being patient with yourself. It is our journey, it is our flow. Eventually, we do see it all. Um, and so be gentle with yourself, be patient with yourself too. Like I learned that, I like learning things slow and repetitively because I like to learn it really good. So I learned to stop beating myself up about like I should know better by now. I'm like, this I'm going to become an expert in this experience. So I love that for you. Hopefully that helps, Lolita, and whoever else needed to hear that too. I feel like that was more for than just you and me. Um, but I love that for you. So hopefully that helps on the path of writing the situation starting within you, right? And your fortune cookie is from the heart. It says, I create loving action which sets my soul free as I grow with gratitude. Wow. That is like so much of what we talked about, right? If I focus my energy when I'm grateful for what I'm learning in this situation, what I love about a situation, that is like the start. Like, that's kind of where we started with that Page of Wands energy. I start with where's my energy? Am I focusing on, or like my sound effects, or am I focusing on what am I loving about myself in this moment, the situation in the moment, the other persons involved in the moment, and in the past too. And that gratitude grows things and changes it. So I like it. You are very welcome. So many blessings to you. All righty. I love it. Such good information. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Let me see. Now I'm all discombobulated. Let me get where I'm at here. All right. So Rocky's World. Let's get your timestamp here. You are up next. So we'll have your two in a row here. And there's your timestamp. All right. So number one, let's give that a love and a like. Thank you so much for that donation. Let me take another sip here. Oh, and shout out here to Johanna, one of my YouTube channel members. Hello, hello. Good to see you. I get funnier every day. Maybe I'm just, channeling a comedian from the other side. I don't know. Thank you. You're so funny. All right. So, Rocky's World. You want to know, was Michael J's energy last night around so intimately after Roberto's energy was around yours since our rendezvous? I'm not sure if it's in your imagination or if it's really MJ. All right, let's double check here and see. Oh, here we go. Dun, dun, da, da, da. So he's entering into the reading. The big curtains have parted, and it's like it seems like a lot more, but it's at least like 15 and 20 of him dressed as a rocket, all coming in, dun dun dun, kicking all together, dun 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 dun. Dun. So here he is. He has arrived. That is too funny. All right. So let's take a look here. So what was his energy there last night? All right. He is just hilarious. All right. And what's those for too? All right. So 10 of waters on the bottom, 10 of cups, joy, 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 flowing energy for sure. So a lot of joyful energy, and emotional energy flowing. I feel like that's like saying yes, that they were having this joy energy, and that's the way they look at it. I like that they're coming in, that they're not judgmental, even though they were like giving you a hard time about being with Roberto. You know, um, they're happy for you and they're joyful for you, and they brought that energy around. Let's see what the other message they have here for you. Yeah. So we got the 5 of trees, the 5 of wands, and the king of skies, the king of swords. So there is this energy here of change of energy. And I feel like they were I don't know, I feel like you were getting in your head a bit with this king of swords after hanging out with Roberto, and they wanted to bring in a joyful energy, flood in, and like help you like get out of that kind of some lower vibrational mental energy to bring you into a higher vibration. Um, Kind of like trying to distract you to get you out of your head, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, yeah. I like it. You got the high priestess energy, and it's the temperance card. But I like they call it flow, and, um, of course, the high priestess energy is this energy where she goes off and she goes up, into her high priestess temple, connects with the higher realms, looks behind the veils, and I feel like they wanted to flood you with this energy to get your attention, to have you connect higher to the spirit realm. To them, they're like, "Well, I'm here too," but all of us, you know, they were flooding this energy to have you see things from a different perspective, and I just feel like them, along with your spiritual posse, were bringing you, I don't know, some energetic support, after hanging out with Roberto there too. So So we have that, and then 5 cards. Let's see what these are about. Maid of the Skies, which is the Page of Swords, giving you clarity, helping bring some clarity. Yeah, clarity of mind, because I feel like you were going off into overthinking mode. And they were like, let's bring you back. And they had the Maid, yeah, the Maid of Skies, the Maid of Air. You have the Maid of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Page of Water. You've got the 2 of water, yeah, all this relationship energy. You've got the Lord of the Forest, which is the Devil card, Capricorn, overthinking energy, and the Queen of Stones, the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, so there is this energy here, like, um, you know, the Capricorn Saturn energy is a lot about challenging some old, long held beliefs, the thoughts and beliefs and mindsets and things like that. I feel like the message that they were trying to bring you here is, you know, with that Queen of Pentacles, it's Mother Nature, Mother Nurture, nurturing yourself. And with both of this Page of Air and Page of Cups of water, with the Two of Cups, which is about relationships, I feel like they were trying to bring a message in going, you know, I give you a hard time on being with them because that's not who you want. That's not what you want. You want something higher, which is the pages are like number 11s. And I feel like they're saying, you're caught up in some old ways of thinking, and they're just trying to do what's best for you and show you this is what you're wanting, right? And so they don't judge. They're not like, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have done it. They're just going, they bring in that energy for you to go, eh, do you really want to do what go down what you've always done and get what you've always gotten? Or do you want that more, energy, something bigger and greater? So I feel like that's the big message that they were wanting to bring in, but it was their energy to say yes. And then they're like, this is what I was trying to tell you. So now they're taking a bow on stage, the Rockettes that they were. They're like, okay, that's that reading. And let's give you your fortune cookie for that one. And then we'll go into your second question. He's just a hoot and a half. All right. Okay. So here is your card for that. And you got, I create positive actions through the cycle of change. So positive actions through a cycle of change. That's kind of that energy of, you know, f- a more higher vibrational experience by changing my approach and going, is that really what I want to do? Is that really what I do want to go down that road? All right. All right. So that's what I feel for that one. All right. And so, Rocky, we'll do your second one. And then we will go do Sonali Thakur. And then we will go to Maria P. And I think that's all. Oh, nope. And then we have Kit. Hey, Kit. Hopefully you got my message in response to your other comment. But I see you asking the question. So, Kit, you will be up after that. That's where we're at so far in the readings there, Valerie. And for anyone else, so thanks for asking. It's good to keep everyone updated. And if there's no other donations after that, then I'll jump into the free readings for my YouTube channel members. And then after that, if there's still time, we'll go into the free readings. But I will get to all the free readings sometime today as well. You're welcome, Christina. Thank you so much. I hope your day goes great too. All right, so Rocky, number 2, let's give that a love and a like here. For number 2, and what is up with your neighbor with the bad energy? Sometimes I think he's knocking on my wall on purpose. I don't know what's wrong with him and why the universe, wow, placed this family in your path. It made my apartment experience uncomfortable. Also, may I have a timestamp? Oh, yeah. Timestamps. Absolutely. Hope you guys are enjoying the timestamps. I know it takes a little more, but at least you guys can find your readings much more quickly. You can see what readings are completed too. So let's take a look here. What is going on with this neighbor? Because we know there's no accidental experiences, right? All right. Really, those two. Okay. So let's see what we have here. Got the 8 of stones on the bottom, which is the 8 of pentacles. The blood, the sweat, the tears brings the fruit. You're like, no kidding. All right. Let's see what this is all about. Yep. So we have the Tower card, which is a good, you know, card to come in, and then the King of Pentacles, King of Stones. So these cards coming out together do represent an energy of that when the lesson is learned and obstacles are no longer needed, they are removed out of our life for us, right? Um, and so, the Tower card does have like it's that energy. Everything happens in our life on purpose for a purpose. things are removed out of our life to make space for things that are more in alignment with our higher self, and our path is clear to have us move onward. So that you're still there is a lesson behind this for you. There is something that is being brought up for you to see, and there's a gift in it for you. It's just a matter of, okay, what is this gift so I can see it, so I can transform whatever I'm wanting to transform within me because of that situation so that I can move forward. So, what is it? Let's see what it is. I think that's what these cards are about, right? Got the 8 of cups. So another 8, a flow number, the 9 of waters. Yeah, so the 8 of waters to the 9 of waters, and the ace of skies. Ace of Swords, which is about clarity. I love ravens and crows. I say that like every time almost I put that card out there, but I do. They're so cute. But there's this flow energy here. It's about learning to leave behind, emotions and relationships that no longer serve so that I can move into something that's more in alignment with my true dream come true. And I do feel like there's a little bit of energy here going, it's like an eagle's nest. I was gonna say a crow's nest. I don't think crows do this. Eagles do this though, when it's time for their eaglets to learn to fly, because it's so comfortable where they're at. If they don't do it on their own, they start removing the comfortable things out of the nest, so it's not comfortable for them to nestle down in the little, you know, fur and cloth and shrubberies, whatever they put in there, make it nice and soft. It's all craggly and you're ow, ow. So they have to sleep up on out of the nest because it's too uncomfortable in there, and then they stop bringing as much food so that they're like, "Okay, I'll fly, gosh." And then they fly and like, "Oh, this is so cool. Why didn't I do this like, weeks before?" Um, that's what I hear him saying in my brain. But, so I feel like things are becoming uncomfortable because when you use that word uncomfortable, that really, sparked this energy of, things become uncomfortable when it's time for us to make change, right? And so it's like, okay, thank you, hands of angels pounding and making noise and make it uncomfortable because it's time for me to look to go somewhere else that's more in alignment with where I'm at here. And eventually, with the Tower card, you know, um, when we're like in connection with spirit and um, consistently, we'll hear the countdown too before the lightning bolt hits because the lightning bolt hasn't hit yet. But so you're getting this countdown, all this pounding on the wall, this uncomfortable situations is 9, 8, 7, 6. Because if it gets down to 1, 0, that's when the lightning bolt hits, and you will be removed out of the situation, um, one way or another. So the uncomfortability is the lead up for you to look and see where is it that you are to go. All right. So we have that. Let's see what's below the surface here. These cards are below the surface. You got the 3 of trees. Yep, the 3 of wands. This is with new information, changing directions or moving locations. Underneath that, we've got the witch of skies and the 3 of skies. Yeah. So the witch of skies is the knight of swords, and you got the 3 of swords. Expectations equal disappointment, and the movement of thought and belief that come in here too. So besides having you get uncomfortable enough to make a move, there's also part of the what you're learning is when we have a thought of that, people shouldn't do that. People shouldn't say that, or they should say this and they should do this. All that disappointment we get is because we have um, all these rules we grew up with that we think um, we have to obey, and then by golly, we're going to make sure everyone else needs to obey, and so we try to control everyone out there. You're not doing what you need to be doing. Oh, almighty police officer, God's little sheriff helping rule the universe. That's what that's what I would do a lot. Hello, Rocky's World. We're doing your second question now. I put timestamp out there just in case if you don't see it. Here's your first timestamp. uh, it's actually all together, so you have it there. Oh, okay, you're listening. Um, well, the human will do whatever they do. They're just irritable and they're reacting out of fear and they're doing their job, um, to bring the mirror, right? And so the irritation that you're experiencing isn't happening out here. It's in here and it's in here. It's not out there. And so part of this Knight of Swords is this experience is teaching you to let it go, and since I said let, I'm gonna just plug her book today, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Finding her on Instagram, I think she's on Facebook too, but if you follow her on Instagram, she talks a lot about the book. But I'm only this far in, like I think I'm one chapter in, and the next chapter I'm going into talks about managing stress, fearing other people's opinions, dealing with someone else's emotional reactions, overcoming chronic comparison. So that's going to be a great chapter. I mean, just reading the little what's in the next chapter, I'm like, oh my god, But there is this, wonderful energy. Well, you can react all you want, but the reaction is what is teaching us, right? Our suffering is where we our growth happens. And so I'm like, when I'm like feeling out of control because people aren't acting the way I think they should, this whole let them theory is let people be who they are. You can't change them, you can't change people's moods, people's actions, you know um so take our power back, come back to I get to control it. What they're reminding me, because when I had my condo, there was like this little courtyard in between all these condos. It was like little grassed area. They had playgrounds and other things, but there's this grassed area, and the children that lived there loved to play kickball in this little courtyard. And I would hear the ball bam, bam, bam against my front door and even my glass window to my kitchen, on that floor, right? And so, oh yeah, I was er, headed towards that door to open that door to be that old man I used to hate on my street that would come out and tell us to quit screaming. And we hated them, and other people would play tricks on it, on doing stuff to his house. But um, as I was headed to the door about to open it up, um, I realized, oh my God, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be the one that is going to yell at the people not to do what they shouldn't be doing. And I'm like, they're children. Let them play. Let them. Wow. Yeah, let them play is what I said. Let them play. If they break a window, I'm just gonna let them. I'm just gonna, well, one, I'll find out who it is and I'll have their parents pay for it. I'll just be like, hey, they broke that. Can you, I need you guys to pay for their actions. um, or pay for it myself if they're like, no, screw you or whatever. But it's like, coming back to the other part of let them is let me choose my story, my emotions. And that's what you're learning here through this Knight of Swords and the Three of Swords. It's when I have disappointment, when I have reaction, it's because I don't think people should be doing what they're doing. And it's a reflection. Like when we were younger, we got punished when we didn't do what people wanted us to do. And so we feel like we have this fear that ignites that they're going to be punished. I'm going to be punished. There's going to be punishment. Our little inner child freaks out. That's when we do stupid, unloving, uncaring things, right? And so it's not personal, you know. They're doing whatever they're doing out of their reactions to life. I can't control that, but what I can look at is why did I want to experience this, right? What's the gift in it for you? Let's see what these other 3 cards are here too. You got the 4 of Stones, I love it. 4 of Pentacles, here's home. Yeah. Well, they're not the ones that are stealing your peace. Your thoughts are, you know, because, they don't you're giving them the power of taking away your peace, but it's your thoughts, your reaction, your choices that are taking away your peace, not theirs. Because like me, I thought those kids are disturbing me. No, my thoughts about their actions are disturbing me. Once I corrected my thoughts and I was like, let them play. I don't want to be that old crotchety old man that opens the door and you kids better stop that. I'm going to be that cool name. I'm going to be that cool person that opens, the door and goes, if you kick it this way, you can kick it, and hit that window up there. No, I wouldn't do that. But, I'm just gonna not even react. I'm just going to be like, whatever, crotchety. Yeah, I'm gonna be like crotchety old man. You have the 6 of Stones, the 6 of Pentacles, that equal giving and receiving energy. And then also, yeah, the Flight. This is the Chariot card, the power of choice. I love it. So all of this with home is I can choose to change my thinking and my actions and emotions and all that. I get to choose everything I'm feeling and expressing, or I can move. That's the power of choice. The 4 Pentacles is home. So it's like you can change home or you can change your attitude about home. You can be equal giving and receiving, realizing I can give this. I can let them be who they are, and I can let myself also be who I am. I don't need to, have a belief people shouldn't be knocking things around on walls, you know? Obviously, I love Byron Katie too. If you ever have a chance to check her out, she's got a great website, thework.com, just THEWORK.com, but she's got this great judge your neighbor worksheet, literally your neighbor, right? But it allows us to see things. And one of the things I love that she says where I was headed was, um, how you know that something should be happening? No, how? Because it's happening. And I was like, Wow, so simple, but so true, right?" So, um, when we take other people's actions personally, that's when we react on the inside. When we realize other people's actions are about what they're going through, we don't go around all day long going, "Oh, I'm gonna do this to irritate them." We don't do that normally. Usually people are just living their life and not even aware. Like I usually say, it's like Walmart. Um, uh, and it's like people so many times, and this used to irritate me until I learned that lesson over and over again. I'd be going through Walmart with my cart, and I'd be standing there, and someone's walking down, looking at stuff on there, not watching where they're going, and I'm like way far over. They have plenty of space to go on the right hand side, and they ran right into me. I mean, so many times ran into my cart, people running into me with the cart. And I was like, why? I had this, idiots out walking around. What is all those, right? But it was like learning that other people's actions, weren't personal, right? Right. You'll work hard for an RV house, right? Yeah. And then your fortune cookie is dance, which says, allow yourself some fun each day, just as the sun dances with the moon each night. I like that. Again, fun, not focusing on and that's the whole thing too. We learn about expectations is when I'm focusing on what's not happening, I get more of not happening. I expand that energy. If I focus on unfun, I get more and more unfun. When I focus on joy and laughter and higher vibration, I get more of that. What am I grateful for in that neighbor? Well, I'm grateful that they don't shoot um, holes in the wall with guns. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that, if you have to start off that way. But when we have gratitude about things, that stuff grows, right? Um, so I like that. All right. So that's what they have for you, Rocky's World. Hopefully that helps a little bit. All right. So many blessings to you. All righty, ready. So, Sonali Thakur, let's get your timestamp here. And Rocky, I'm not sure if you listened to your other one yet. It was hilarious, so I hope you enjoy that one too. All right. You are welcome. So, Sonali, thank you for your donation. Let's give that a love and a like there. And you would like to know about your future spouse. All right, let's take a quick sip here. All right. See what spirit will share today, right? The scavenger hunt continues. Let's see. What can you tell us about future spouse? What can we know today about them? Okay, that one. What else? Okay, and that one here. All right. So you got the 9 of swords on the bottom of the deck. So the 9 of swords is like a nightmare and insomnia card. Don't worry. It's not as bad as it sounds. You're like, "Oh my god." But the 9 of swords, is an energy, and we might have had a little bit of this before, but it's, you know, when we get to the nines, that's like we're almost done, especially with the 9 of skies, the 9 of swords with that nightmare insomnia. It's like we got so much on our mind, so many of our fears, so many of them trying to please everyone and all these expectations and everything. And it's like, oh my God, I am almost exhausted. They're like, we're ready. They were ready to let go of trying to please everyone. And on the bottom of the deck here, it's saying here that when you meet them, they will have gotten to that point where they were sick and tired of feeling disappointed in other people and feeling like a disappointment from other people. And they were like, I'm going to be who I am and I'm going to live life and I'm not going to live a life in fear. So I love this that it's starting off a big foundation that they've gone through is that transformation where they're not caught up in all the people pleasing and worried about all that stuff. So I like that. What else about them? All right, we got the strength card. Yeah, strength and courage energy coming in here. Leo energy. So I feel like I don't know if we asked this before, but fire energy, Leo could be a Leo, but it could be also a Sagittarius or an Aries. We'll see if anything else comes in here. But that means they're nice looking because and I we might have mentioned this. I know I mentioned it with someone. I don't know if it was you. But it's like they're designed for you because you're attracted to them, you're drawn in. If you ever watched, like, Twilight, when Bella first met Edward and they went up and he revealed his, sparkly, diamond skin, and she was like, "Oh," and he's like, you're attracting me because 'cause I'm designed, because 'cause I'm a hunter," or whatever he was said, "predator." And she's like, "No, that's not it." You know? But it's like there's that they're designed to attract you. Their looks and everything, you're just like, "Be still my heart, woo, woo," right? And then so I like that energy coming in. That's important. There's more to it, of course, but that's important part of it all, right? Yeah, and the 5 of trees, the 5 of wands. There is this, um, sparky energy between the 2 of you too. When you guys first meet, you guys are kinda sassy to one another, There's like this electricity between you where you kinda banter a little bit back and forth in a, flirty kind of way where people are going, "Oh my god, you guys just get a room, will you?" Because you guys are like, "Blah, blah, blah," and they're like, "Blah, blah, blah," and you're like, "Well, blah, blah, blah," and there's playful it's kind of if the people walking by are like, "Oh my god, are you guys fighting?" And then they realize, "Oh, no, you guys are flirting at a intense level. And so there is that energy when you guys first meet. That's hilarious. I love that. And then you have the Two of Skies, the Two of Swords. There's a different kind of energy coming in with this. Normally, this is like a battle between the head and the heart, but I feel like this is more saying that you guys are very like-minded. You guys, and I feel like, in this conversations that are coming in here, it's like, let's say you guys like the same type of movies. Let's just say. And so you make an odd movie reference that you think most people don't get these, and they finish it. They like you're saying something from a character, and they say the thing that the other character in the movie says back to them, and you're like, what? And they say something and you do it back and they're just like, no way. And I just feel like you guys have this like-mindedness where you guys communicate and they're like, I've never met anyone who gets movie references like you do. And you're like, me either, because like maybe you both grew up watching a lot of movies growing up or something. But it's that kind of connection where you guys just like, oh my God, and I like that. Below the surface, let's see what else is here. You got the Eight of Stones, the Eight of Pentacles. So this is that energy that you both have gone through. Like you're both butterflies. You're not caterpillars. You've overcome and done a lot of your, shadow work on stuff that would impact um, relationships. And you've done this, you know, looking at old pain and emotions that don't serve you anymore, old mindsets that don't serve you anymore, energy, got rid of things. And I feel like you guys have, by the time you meet, you've done a lot of purging of things out of your life that you're ready to have a relationship without bringing a lot of old baggage into it. And both of you are that with that Eight of Stones. It means you both have put in the blood, the sweat, the tears, and now you get the reward. You don't have to learn so much of it through that relationship. You've learned it through other relationships, right? Yeah, and the Full card, I love it. You both are ready for this ending of old cycles and this beginning of new adventures, and there's this freedom that comes in with it, where you just don't feel like all this pressure of supposed to be and should be and need to be and have to be and must be. I really like that. Knight of Pentacles too, I feel like they have had like they've gone to schooling. They've got a lot of education behind them too. So they are like a perpetual learner too. Kind of feel like you're that way too. You like learning and always studying something. But you guys have a great mental connection in addition to the hots for one another. All right, and let's see what your fortune cookie is here. Too funny. All right, yep, they did want this one right here. Yeah, look, learn. It is. It's all about learning. Let's see what it says here. Take a lesson from the owls, deeply observe the night, and you'll become a little wiser in the day. I like this learning though. That just is that whole thing of that's what you love learning and growing and have great conversations and talk around things too. So I like that. Oh, you are a Leo. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention down here. There you go. Wah wah wah. You definitely will have that. You are a Leo, so that's why you guys have the hots for one another. You're gonna have this draw. Roar. All right. So that's what they have for you, my dear. Thank you again for your donation. I greatly appreciate that. All right. Okay. And then Maria P, you are up next. Let's grab your timestamp here. There we go. So, Maria, thank you so much for your donation. Let's grab in here and see what we have for here. All right. So, what are Walter's feelings and thoughts towards you today? All right. Feelings. Whoa. And thoughts. Nope, that's it. And then he said he loves he loves you yesterday in your date. His thoughts on that. Okay. And then when you send him pics of you and um Oh, and kiddos, his thoughts. All right. Glad you said in kiddo. I'm like, whoa, what kind of pictures are these? I'm just kidding. Any special thoughts or anything you can see for you two? All right. All right. Let's see what we got here. Of course, on the bottom of the deck, we have the lovers card. Sorry. And then feelings and thoughts. Let's start there. So, yeah, we got this renewal card, which is the judgment card, but I like they call it renewal. And then the ace of stones, which is ace of pentacles, which is new opportunities opening up. I like this, renewal kind of energy because it's like continuation, but going to a new level. It's like they remind me. I used to work in an auto insurance field and for like 20 years, uh, different departments, thankfully, but they, you know, auto insurance comes up for renewal every 6 months or a year or whatever, right? Insurance renewal. And it's like, am I going to renew it? Am I going to go to the next, am I going to, have another like loyalty program? Am I going to go and have another year? Am I going another, and I like this energy because it's like they're thinking about here about the renewal and where are we going to next? What's this new opportunity coming up? And I like that because a lot of their energy before was like, let's just live in the now. I got too much going on. But with everything that's happened since like those kind of messages we were getting before, I feel like they're really looking forward to taking things to another level. Not marriage, calm down. Not yet. This is all about just, you know, taking things emotionally, mentally, physically, energetically to the next step. Not don't rush, just baby steps, right? So I like that kind of energy coming in. He said he loves you yesterday on your date. His thoughts on that. We got the King of Stones, King of Pentacles, solid foundation kind of energy, and the Four of Skies, the Four of Swords, this nesting energy, the solid foundation. And I like that. He feels comfortable saying it. He feels comfortable with it, and I like that. There's no untruth around it or saying it because he thinks you want to hear it or saying it and not meaning it. This is the meaning it, and especially this nest, how it just feels so comfortable, and they like that cocooning kind of feeling in there. So I like the solid foundation that is there because they don't say it easily and just willy nilly. He says it with purpose. So I like that. And when you send pictures of you and kids, his thoughts. Got the Eight of Stones, the Eight of Pentacles, along with the Witch of Skies, the Knight of Swords. It does get him thinking. And the Eight of Stones, Eight of Pentacles is kind of like putting in the blood, the sweat, the tears, putting in the stuff to get to the fruit. It's the, caterpillar going through the cocoon to become the butterfly. And so that is a progression kind of energy. It makes him think about things. When you send pictures of that, he goes off into thinking like, where would this go down the road? Again, coming back to kind of that beginning stuff too. When you send stuff, he's thinking about, wow, what it looks like being part of each other's lives and being part of your children's lives and your children being part of his life too. When you send pictures of the kids, um, and just it feels like there's not any angst or fear. They really imagine it and think about it, and they're a big thinker. They're a big preparer. They like to not, have things blindside them. So they kind of think of things in advance, even though they don't talk a lot about it. They think about a lot of stuff. So there you go. And then any other special sauce, special thoughts. Um, or anything to see about you two. So you've got here the flow, yeah, the temperance, patience card. Allow things to unfold, right? Those cups going back and forth. Eventually it turns to gold, but it's the patience of allowing things to go and flow, not trying to force anything, right? That's an important piece. That's they have to mention that like every time, right? Made of stones, page of pentacles. So you have the ace of pentacles, the page of pentacles is about things progressing, things going to another step. I just feel like you need to know that, that it will. But if you go with the flow, if you push it, it delays it. If you're grateful for what you do have, then more comes in. So it's really being aware of that. You got the five of waters, the five of cups. So being aware of lower vibrational emotion. Yeah, and the ace of waters, ace of cups. So this is being aware of that the lower emotional choices, and not judging yourself for it, being gentle with yourself. But when you feel down and you feel disappointment or you feel any of those kind of energies, you just realize, okay, um, there is this ability to transform that and to choose differently. Because if you're focusing on lower emotion, we're growing that and expanding it. It's like that saying that within every one of us, there's, two wolves that are battling, and, well, which one wins, Grandpa? The old Native American story. And they're like, well, whichever one you feed. So if we find ourselves feeding the dark wolf, we're like, "Yeah," and we're just feeding it. We're like, "Oh, I'm feeding you." Don't be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I fed them," because we just continue to feed the dark wolf, but we're like, "Oh, hope you enjoyed that, and I'm gonna go back and I'm feeding the white wolf, I'm gonna grow you instead. Because the dark wolf isn't potty trained, they come in, they poop on your carpet, and they invite other dark wolves to poop on your carpet. White wolves potty trained, they go outside. So, that's what we want. They're protective, they're angry and growl and bite people. White wolves are protectors, right? So, anyway, let's see what your fortune cookie says here for you too. Oh, spirit's so funny. So you have idle hours. Yeah, I love that. Idle hours. Take some time out to lie on emerald grass. Get out into nature. I like that. It's when you have idle time, as they say, idle time's the devil's work. When we're having idle time, that's when you start to think. That's when you start to go, wonder what they're doing. I wonder what, those fears go in, that lower vibration creeps in. But being active and doing, purposely choosing joy, play, higher vibrational things. It's like if you're not, if you start to head that direction, go do stuff with your kids, go play, go do something fun, do something you enjoy. That keeps us from going that direction. So I love that for you. All right. So that's what they have for you, my dear Maria. So many blessings to you. All right. And then Kit Williams. I know. Finally, right? Right. Yeah, we have time. We'll make sure we get you squared away here. So, Kit, here's your timestamp. And thank you for your donation. I appreciate that. Give that a love and a like. And so, you would like to know um, if he has the ability to make the changes that you feel you need for us to be able to stay together. All right, let's take a look here. See if he has the ability, the wherewithal to be who you want them to be, right? Let's take a look here. So tell us, what are the probabilities, the capabilities, right? Tell us what we can know here, right? I feel like, these are below the surface here. So we'll find out what's going on under there. Okay, 6 cards under there leading to that. All right. So, Kit, the bottom of the deck, we do have the 10 of stones, the 10 of pentacles. This is one of my relationship cards, about relationship. So, I do feel there's a possibility that there can be a healthy relationship between you guys. Let's see what all these other cards are, though. Let's see what if the capacity, right? We got the Eight of Waters. The Eight of Waters, Eight of Cups is a card of about the need, and this can be from both of your guys' perspective here too, because the Ten of Pentacles, when it comes to relationships, it's about the Ten of Pentacles is like a fullness, a gratitude. And we kind of talk a little bit about it where you know, we're all given a lot of expectations growing up about who they're supposed to be, who they're supposed to be in the relationship, what a relationship is like, how it's supposed to start, how it's supposed to go, what it's supposed to bring us, how it's supposed to end up, who I'm supposed to be in the relationship. It's a lot of rules, right? And we get them from all over the place. So we all have a list of these expectations, both them and us and all this other, you know, stuff that's given, and we it's like I call them conditional love laws or small t truths. They're all rooted in fear. Like growing up, that's when we learn it of our parents telling us, "You do this, you get rewarded. You don't do this, you get punished." And so we grow up with all this long list of things of opinion of how things are supposed to be, who they're supposed to be in a relationship, what they're supposed to do, what we're supposed to, all that supposed to, right? But the problem with that is that when we focus on those expectations that aren't being met, yeah, we get a lot of disappointment, but we also are focusing on what's not going right or who they're not being, or even who we're not being, if a lot of our self talk, right? And that grows that. Whatever we focus our energy on is what grows and expands and what unfolds. We can change that in a relationship, and this pentacles is the abundance by focusing on who they are. Like, what do I love about and am grateful for who they are, who they're being in the relationship, what the relationship is bringing, who I'm in the relationship, right? When I focus on the gratitude about what is happening, then I get more of that. When I focus in on expectations not being met, I'm focusing on what's not happening. I get then that energy of not happens. That's what sucks the life out of a relationship, right? Because when we meet someone, like they're up here, right? Let me do it this way. They're up here. When we meet them, we have zero expectations. We think they're wonderful, right? Because we don't know any better. Our expectations are like, look how wonderful. And then we start to hang out. Our expectations grow. Well, this is how they have to be, who they need to be, who we need to be. And then we start dating exclusively, and then we get engaged. They're becoming less and less amazing. Still, worth hanging around, right? But our expectations are what are changing things, not them. They've stayed the same. We've stayed the same. Their expectations of us change. Our expectations of them change. Then we get married, right? Oh my gosh, why are they falling short now, right? But that's the way expectations work. Is when we focus on who they're not being, then no one can ever live up to everything that we expect other people to be. That's the whole life. And I was mentioning earlier, there's a great book here, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I follow her on Instagram. I'm just this much into the book, and oh my God, it's amazing. I highly recommend it because it is realizing I can only control my own thoughts, my own emotions, my energy, my actions. I can't control theirs. And so part of this with this Eight of Cups is about us letting go of our own emotions that don't serve us anymore, right? And um, and that's an important piece of the journey. Let's see what else they have here too. Got the Three of Pentacles, the Three of Stones. Such an energy about being true to our authentic selves and being true to who we are and allowing other people to be true to who they are. That's a lot of this book mentions this too. Yeah, we got the initiation, the Hanged Man. And a lot of relationships are about change, right? I mean, life is about change. It's moving from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And as we move from this caterpillar, pieces of us fall away, pieces of them fall away. And a relationship is about, we learn so much about through all relationships, right? Lovers, family, friends, coworkers, whatever. And um, a big piece of all of this is about um, realizing everyone's a mirror showing us what we want to see about ourselves, right? Anything anyone does or doesn't do, says or doesn't say is a um, it's neutral really until it gets in here, and then we create a story, we choose our emotion, what we're going to feel around it. So it was, I think it was A Course in Miracles. It said, relationships teach us patience and unconditional love. It's like so true. So I feel like a lot of this is about transformation. We'll get to that, your question about do they have the capacity to change and be who you feel they need to be in order to have a good relationship with them. We'll see more here, but I feel like Spirit's kind of going in and saying that, a relationship is between two people, and it's about realizing a lot about ourselves, of all these rules that we think are supposed to be, and we can question those and go, is that true? Are all these small t truths rooted in fear that I learned growing up, is it really necessary for them to change? Is it really necessary for, all these things to be in order for me to be happy with someone? And and that's the big question is, you know, we turn that mirror to ourselves and go, can I be happy with myself without anyone? Because our happiness starts here. It's not dependent on the outside world. And we can't make anyone else happy. No one can make us happy. We have to be happy on the inside before we can experience happiness on the outside. Because someone can, like, you can give someone the world and they could still choose to be unhappy, and someone could give us the world and we could still choose to be unhappy, because happiness starts here. Interesting. All right, let's see what else we have. You got the moon child, the eight of trees, so the eight of wands, the moon child. So this does talk about a lot of energy moving below the surface. So there's a lot of emotional energy both within them and within us, that, especially with that eight of cups, there could be some leftover emotions from our past, 7 years old and younger, that created a lot of these, you know roles that we have around who someone has to be and what a relationship has to be, because it's a ripple and a reflection of those past emotions. So this does talk about something that needs to be looked at, that's below the surface, that can be revealed too. And the ace of trees, it's like the ace of wands, which is an energy about, we go back to that, whatever I'm focusing on, I grow in my life, and whatever they focus on grows in their life. I can't control their focus, but I can control mine. And this is coming back to stepping into our power. That book, The Let Them, talks a lot about that, that we give a lot of our power away to others. Like, my happiness depends on their actions. We're giving our power away. We're like, no, I get to choose my happiness. Yeah, we can make it easier or harder for us to choose, and for them to choose happiness. Like, because if I'm yelling in their face, "You're an idiot," that's gonna be harder for them to choose joy and happiness. Same if they're doing that to me. But if they're telling me they love me and that, it makes it easier for me to choose to love myself too, right? So let's see here. What's all this below the surface? This is getting to that question. They wanted you to know all that because that gives us perspective on what a relationship really, happens in here. But let's take a look here. We got the Queen of Skies. They do see you as someone that is very, like, she's the balance between head and heart, and it's one of the, like, compatibility cards. They see you as someone that you could be so compatible for one another, and so they do really see you as someone that's such a good fit for them. The Witch of Skies, which is the Knight of Swords, they do have this, energy here about that they're willing to have, like, change their mindsets. They're willing to learn and to grow and to be open-minded. So they're open to compromises and they're open to making adjustments with this Knight of Swords. So they're willing to look at things differently, which is good. So they're in their mind, they feel like you're worth it here. 7 of Trees. The 7 of Wands here. Yeah, right? Yeah, right. Which is important, a good reflection is, all my relationships, I learned something about myself. Like, I had one of my relationships, it was the last one that I had. I felt like they were trying to fit me in between the important things, and when spirit was taking me through, like, shadow work and what did you learn through your relationships? When they brought that up, I was like, because they were showing me however you felt about them, there was something in that truth about how you feel about yourself. And I was like, oh, how am I trying to fit myself in between the important things? And I was like, wow. It's like when yours that just brought up, they need to raise me up in their priorities more often. It's like, ooh, where can I raise my true self up higher in things in my life? And that's the mirror that's coming back for us, right? Deep stuff. Sorry, that just the 7 of Wands here, they do have this energy of they want to be true to their authentic self. They don't wanna feel like they have to shrink, that they have to ask permission to shine, that they have to defend who they are either, though, with this. They also wanna be, um, celebrated for who they are, and so there's an important balance in between celebrating them for who they are and looking at what I would like to see change in our relationship. Now, I want you to change, right? Because what does that do? If anyone does this, doesn't that just piss us off right away? Defensiveness, "Rrr." But when we're like, "You know what? I need in the relationship and what I would like to see grow in the relationship is this," if that's something you think you could offer, if that's something that we could look at instead of making a demand, right? Um, but also going, making it important to tell ourselves what we love about ourselves for sure, but also tell them what we love about them and celebrate them, right? We got the Full card. Yeah, there. This kind of goes in with the 7 of Swords. They don't want to feel like a caged lion. Are they a Leo? But I feel like they don't want to be like feel like a caged lion. Um, and so it's not like us try to make them be who we want them to be, but making it about a relationship and going, is there something in the relationship that you would like to see more from me? And this is something that if you're, willing, I'd like to see more of this, and this is what that looks like for me. And learning each other's love language, right? Because it's about coming together, but, when we focus on those expectations, it can feel like we're trying to cage someone. And so it's like how we approach it, I feel is important with them. I do feel like they're open to, compromise and changing and doing things, but I feel like it's very important how we do that, right? Yeah. So I like that. We also have the Maid of Skies, which is the Page of Swords. So again, with both the Witch and the Maid, this is the Page and the Knight of Swords. They are willing to talk about things, but it's how we talk about it, right? It's just such an important, um, realizing we don't like people telling us what's wrong with us and where we're failing in something. When we're focusing a lot on what we love about something, they'll give us more of that. And that's something that we can do too here too, like if you enjoy when they prioritize you, focus on gratitude around when they do it. It's like, reward good behavior. But it's like and that energetically, the more we focus on gratitude for when they do prioritize us and we feel good, then they are a Leo. I love it. So when they, when we do that, then that expands that and that makes it more of that. And if we tell them in a loving way, so appreciate, when you did that. It made me feel special, and I really love that. And because you did that, I made your favorite dessert, or you know, whatever. Can't go inappropriate here on YouTube. But it's like you do something that they enjoy too, and it's like, wow, and it becomes focusing on what we love in the relationship instead of what's not going right. And then they're like, well, you're not doing this, well, you're not doing that, and it just blows up, right? Arguments, and that's what sucks the life out of relationships. The more we focus on what's not happening, sucks the wind out of the sail. But when we're focusing on what we love, that grows. So I love that. Yeah, and then the Four of Stones, the Four of Pentacles, good solid foundation, energy in the outside world. So they're looking for stability, they're not purposely trying to do things to piss us off, right? They just don't know any better. And so learning, communication in a loving, non-threatening way, is so important in relationships, right? And we learn that by truly communicating, and also, of course, learning each other's love language. We assume with each other that, well, this is what they want, but we just are going by what we've grown up with. But we might ask them and go, is there things that you would like in the relationship that you don't see happening to the extent you want them? You never know. All right. So hopefully that helps. Your fortune cookie is I communicate clearly and honestly, making powerful connections with others. You can't make that up. It's exactly what we were talking about, right? So I communicate clearly and honestly. I'd add in from a place of love, right? Making powerful connections with others. So growing the connection. Wow. So hopefully that helps. That's what they have for right now, Kit. I feel like they are definitely open-minded to it, but it's just about how we approach the communication, and look at it as it's I could also look at what I can enhance for myself in my connection with myself, my expectations on myself, and then also what they want too. But I love that. So hopefully that helps. And so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm 7 minutes late. I got chatting. Oh, if any Praying Mantis members are in here, my apologies. Please let them know I'll be there in a moment. I will be back in about an hour and a half to 2 hours after I spend time with my Praying Mantis members and grab a bite to eat. I'll finish out all the donations, all the free readings, so everyone will get their um, messages from Spirit today. Sorry, trying to do two things at once. Fail. And so I will return. Thank you so much for all your patience, everyone, in getting to your readings. I'm excited to see what else Spirit has for everyone today. And make sure here. Okay, we're right here. All right. Beautiful. I got all the screenshots. So when I come back, I will put a list of the order in which the readings will be completed in the description box. And after I'm done, I will also pin a comment with those as well, which I'm about to do before I jet off to my Praying Mantis, which I am so late to. I'm going to get punished. No, I won't. Happy Easter, my fiend. I shall return. So much love to everyone. Have a very happy day if I don't see you. And remember, every second of every day of your lives, you truly are eternally and unconditionally loved by the Mother and the Father of all things, our Creator. And of course, I love you too. So until I see you guys again, much love. Hang in there. Have fun. Spirit asks us, why are we being so serious, right? So many blessings to you. I'm so glad, Kit. You are very welcome. Let me grab your question here. Divine Empathic Tarot. We will grab that in there too. All right. So glad, Kit. Many blessings to everybody, and we'll see you soon. I'm outie.